Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Jennifer Wood has worked in tea for 18 years after a successful career in branding. In 2007, she founded Kenton Tea in London to supply fine artisanal teas to 5-star hotels, Michelin-starred restaurants, and independent coffee shops. Jennifer is the director of the UK Tea Academy, which she co-founded with writer and educator Jane Pettigrew in 2015. The UKTA trains tea professionals and offers courses for tea enthusiasts. Next year, OCN London, a regulated qualifications body with international recognition, will endorse the Academy's courses and certify the qualification for tea sommelier. The UKTA launched the Leafies in 2022 to celebrate the producers and embed best practices in the UKTA's learning program. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us on the Tea Biz podcast. Today, I want to explore the underlying benefits for producers who enter tea competitions. In my experience, most already know how to make very good tea. They're more curious about how their work compares to their peers and eager for feedback from qualified tasters. Earning a trophy is great, but they soon discover more significant underlying benefits. Can you explain that to our listeners?
Yes, I think a really surprising result from the very, very beginning was this incredible cross-fertilization of ideas between the people who entered. They looked at the teas that had won. They looked at best practice. They looked at the socioeconomic benefits going on in the tea gardens. And from the very beginning, it nurtured this incredible sense of sharing best practice. And so it's been very much a case of a community of tea growers finding a place at the Leafies and fascinated by what other people are doing. So there are smaller gardens, tiny gardens from new regions, emerging regions who have never really had much exposure to their teas at all and are now learning from the traditional gardens and the traditional gardens doing new and interesting specialty teas. So there's an incredible sense of learning, I think, that's coming about through the Leafies. So yeah, entering, it's not just about winning at all. It's learning about the tea that they've entered as well, because the judges have this phenomenal expertise between them. They all have specialist knowledge of their regions. They will talk about every single tea, and they will first of all make their own note, and then they will go through the criteria, marking it themselves, and then discuss it amongst themselves. And that gives us an opportunity to write down that feedback, which, if the gardens choose, and that goes back to the gardens. So instead of this valuable thought, ideas, and knowledge and expertise in tasting, and decades between them all, between all the judges, instead of that just being lost into the ether, this is recorded and can then go back, and so the garden can understand not necessarily what was good or bad about the tea, because that's really not how it works. It was, this had an interesting flavor here. I wonder if they did that. And looking at the leaf, I wonder, had they done this, it might have created that. So, a real sense of understanding the leaves. All they know, of course, is the region. They know nothing more than the region it comes from. And that by getting down some of those notes, that can then go back to the garden, and they can look and think, okay, that's what those guys thought. They may not necessarily agree, but it's another very valuable opinion about what they're tasting, I think.
Jennifer, will you cite one or two things that describe how the Leafies differ from other competitions?
I think the Leafies is entirely unique in the UK. It's the only dedicated tea award for a start. The consistency of the judging panel is something that we really value. So that's not going to be randomers coming in every time and different parameters and different values. Because we have drawn the original judges from a pool of UKTA tutors who are absolute experts in their field and regional specialists, they are delighted to be involved, to have the opportunity to taste all these extraordinary teas and to come back year after year. And because we're not sure, we're based in London, we're not UK-centric at all. We have our judges from Sri Lanka and India, Japan, Taiwan, China, and many other experts who have lived and worked in tea regions.
Will you share with listeners some of the logistics of receiving entries and prepping them for blind tasting?
Yes, the entries start coming in from July. They all go to one fabulous place, our Japanese tea packer and distributor for the UKTA when she sends out all these teas. So they're all accumulated, checked off, and whoever has the entrants are notified that their teas have arrived, so they can relax. And this goes on over several months. And then the work begins. Every single tea is taken out from its original pack and given a unique number. The brewers don't know. Clearly, the judges don't know. Nobody outside the packing room know which teas relate to which garden. So they are packed into the regions. This year, the categories were slightly broader in that we were comparing black teas from Japan against black teas from Sri Lanka and Taiwan, other regions, because last year we had black teas from Japan, black teas from India, black teas from Sri Lanka, black teas. And so they were all just compared to their own regions. And several of them said, actually, we want to see how we compare on the world stage, not just against our own country and our own regions. We would like to see how we compare to all the other regions. So we broadened it, but instead of giving just one gold award in each category, we allowed there to be more gold awards. So in some categories, there were several golds given because you are comparing very, very, very different teas. So the highly commended awards can be given as many as they like. And they don't scatter these like confetti by any means. The judges are very, very discerning and very strict on what the parameters are around the teas. And of course, they are judged with a number. And this takes about a week. Pretty intense. It's very, very organized. I had a team who were tireless and remarkable in helping us get that organized and getting it into the tasting room at Fortnum Mason, the food and drink studio, which is where some of our judging took place.
How many people are involved in the logistics?
5 or 6. And I would say that we could do with 10 or 15. It was pretty intense. And next year, the plan is to have a bigger team and starting earlier, because unless anyone's actually been involved behind the scenes in the organization, it's very hard to describe the number of of hoops you need to go through to make sure it's all absolutely precise and exact and accurate.
Let's take a snapshot of a day when the competition is judged. The teas are all prepared thoughtfully according to the tea maker's suggestions, right?
Yeah. So not only do the producers put in their teas, but they also put in their brewing parameters. And so the brewing team are given the parameters around each numbered tea. So they look at them and they absolutely stick strictly to them. I'm not sure what others might do in these circumstances, but sometimes a tea is made exactly according to the producer's instructions, and the judges are questioning it. They're saying, this is way too light. We're not getting enough out of this. How was this brewed? And they go back and they look at it. And often they say, you know what? Looking at the leaf, this needs more time. This needs a higher temperature. This needs this. Can you try it again? So they might have judged it the first time according to the producer's instructions, but then they think if it's not being given the benefit of how the production, they can ask and the brewers will brew it again. And then very often they get incredible flavors. They get amazing aromas. They're really excited by it, and it wins an award.
So the judges have some latitude to seek out what they think would be the best showing of the tea.
They absolutely do.
They're making that judgment based on something other than what the producer says. They're making it based on their professional judgment.
Right. Yeah.
That's a nice aspect because you're not dealing with amateurs here. You're dealing with professionals. Does every judge taste every tea?
The judges work within particular categories. There are always at least 3 judges on every tea in a team, and there's a lead judge on that team who is from that region. So there's never a Taiwanese tea that is tasted only by our Sri Lankan judge, or we have to do best in show at the end.
Right.
So this is really fun. We get all the golds from the week together, have them brewed in this incredible sort of precision army maneuvering way, and make sure that they're all along the table, and the judges can then eliminate and choose, and again by some sort of astonishing connection and unanimous, they come to a conclusion which is generally completely unanimous on what is best in show. And it's an exciting tea every time, and they are blown away by it.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.